Hello, this is Bianca Loera, and this is my educational court case. After doing some research, the case I chose was the Board of Education versus Rowley. The case was argued on March 23rd, 1982, and the final decisions were delivered on June 28, 1982. The case was centered around Amy Rowley, a deaf student in New York who attended a regular elementary class in a public school. Her parents requested a sign language interpreter in all her academic classes. However, they found out that the school did not provide her with a sign language interpreter as they believed it was not necessary for her as she was doing well in all her academic classes. However, her parents argued that as required by IDEA, it was necessary for her to have an interpreter to receive a better education. After the case began, decision seems to be going back and forth until the Supreme Court made the final and last decision. The case first went to the administrative hearing. It was discussed in the article, The Rowley Case, What Does It Really Mean? By the State of Idaho Department of Education, that the administrator sided with the school district, stating that Amy was receiving adequate support and making a good progress without the need of a sign language interpreter. Determination that an interpreter was not necessary because Amy was achieving educationally, academically, and socially without such assistance. As the case moved on to the New York State Review Officer, they affirmed the decision of the administrative hearing officer supporting the school district decision that the services provided adequate care. However, there was a change when the case reached the district court. It was stated in the article that the court reversed the previous decision with the Rowleys. The court found that the school district failure to provide an interpreter violated Amy's rights to a free, appropriate public education under IDEA. In the court appeal, the same was found, agreeing that the school district needed to provide the right services. When the case arrived at the Supreme Court, the decision was once again reversed, so flipped back to the school, ruling now in favor of the school district as they determined that the school had met the obligation under IDEA by providing a program that was reasonably calculated to enable Amy to receive educational benefits, even if they did not provide the best possible education. As I've read, there were many people involved in the case, the plaintiffs, of course, being Amy Rowley, the deaf student, Clifford and Nancy Rowley, Amy's parents who filed the lawsuit to begin with, and the defendants being the Board of Education of the Hendrick Hudson Central School District. Some of the courts that were involved included District Court, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, and ultimately the U.S. Supreme Court. Some of the case findings included that the school district had complied with IDEA, of course, as stated in the Board of Education v. Rowley Journal. Some of the key findings included that a court interpretation of FAPE or FAPE as providing educational access and some educational benefits, but not necessarily the best or optimal education. The court concluded that the services provided by the school district, which included hearing aid and assistance from a tutor, were adequate to meet the requirements of IDEA, as Amy was progressing well educationally without the need of interpreter, as stated before. Lastly, the decision established that IDEA does not require schools to provide every service necessary for a student to reach their full potential. Instead, schools must offer sufficient support to allow the student to make a meaningful educational progress. As a result of the case, some educational implications the teachers should be aware of that I thought of as they enter the teaching professions may include the understanding of FAPE. As the Board of Education v. Rowley Journal made me understand, teachers should be aware that IDEA requires providing students with disabilities a free, appropriate public education that allows them to access the curriculum and benefit from educational opportunities. This means ensuring that individualized education programs, or IEPs, are designed to provide meaningful educational progress even if they do not offer the maximum possible benefits. Educators need to also understand that the law requires reasonable accommodations and modifications to support students with disabilities rather than providing the absolute best educational service. Teachers should work within the framework of the available resources to meet each student's needs as outlined in the IEP, as I also saw in other articles such as the Board of Education v. Rowley, Are Handicapped Children Handicapped, entitled to Equal Opportunities. Teachers must be diligent in implementing IEPs and ensuring that they address the specific needs of students with disabilities. This involves regular monitoring and adjustments to ensure that students are making adequate progress towards their educational goals. And lastly, teachers should be knowledgeable about the legal requirements under IDEA and understand the implications of failing to provide appropriate educational services. This includes being aware of their responsibilities in supporting students with disabilities and knowing how to advocate for the necessary resources and accommodations. Well, this was my video. Thank you.